What's good, everybody? It's been a minute, but we're here. I'm making some lo-fi here. I got a guitar loop. I'm gonna go through literally everything I do. The entire process. I just found this loop on Splice. That bass really starts to jump out. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna send this to track 1 and I'm going to just EQ it right away. Just get this thing ready to go. First thing I wanna do, I'm gonna roll off the low end. And then I'm going to tame these bass frequencies right here. Immediately they're jumping out, they're muddying up the mix. I want to leave space for an actual bass, you know, my kick and everything that's gonna rock in the low end. Right here, kind of in the mids, around 1500 hertz, 2000 even, there's all this texture that we weren't getting before. So I'm just gonna boost that a little bit. And then just in the EQ over here on the right by my camera, I'm just gonna cut off some of that low end still. This sounds like it's already got some reverb to it. I have a little plate reverb here. I'm gonna bring up the low cut and I'm gonna send it over there. I use reverb sends because reverb is a really CPU intensive plugin. I built a PC for music production. One way to, you know, save your processor, save your CPU is to create sends over here on the right that you can send. I just click this and it would send it to that reverb. You can dial in how much you want with this dial here, and that also helps keep the reverb consistent throughout the whole track. So yeah, the only thing I'm gonna do to this, throw on one of my favorite plugins. It's a free plugin. It's called Tape Cassette 2. This is just, you know, a regular tape plugin. I'm just gonna bring up the wow here in the saturation a little bit, you know, adding some top line melodies to this. Whether you want to find loops, whether you want to create your own is completely up to you. So I found 2 loops I like. Both of these are at 80 BPM, so I'm just gonna stretch them. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to just play our initial melody with the loops that I brought in. I'm gonna go one at a time and just see if they fit. Guitar I think can fit kind of what we're going for, so I'm going to send it to the reverb. And I'm also, the first thing I do with everything is I'm just going to low cut. I'm going to low cut almost everything that isn't bass or occupying that space, whether it's a low piano, a low synth, anything like that, just to leave more room for our bass. As always, use your ears. You know, if something's kind of in that low end and it works, leave it. And I'm also going to send that to our long haul reverb. I just want it to decay out more. And I'm just using my ears and listening for the leveling. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to unmute our next track, our next loop. To take out some of the high end. I'm going to do the same EQ on our last one. I'm going to send it to the reverb. And this is going to be kind of a more background, something subtle. It's not going to be a top line melody or your main chords. It's just going to kind of be tucked in the back. I like what we have so far. So the next thing I'm going to do, this will help me when it comes to the drums later as well. I'm going to throw down our bass line because that'll help me get the root notes. So when it comes to, if this were like a trap beat or anything like that, when it comes to adding your 808s, you'll have the root notes. I like to use a sub bass. And I'm just going to route that to track 4. keep everything nice in line. So now if I listen to our first set of chords with our bass, now we can get onto the part that everyone loves. We're gonna get into the drums. When it comes to drums, it's just finding sounds and finding what I think is right. Now you can kind of start to add in all the ear candy, percussion, stuff like that. So I'm just going to throw in this little snare roll. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight all of these on the left here, go over to where I want them in my mixer and hit Control-Shift-L. That's going to link everything to a mixer channel. And then here is where kind of the critical mixing comes in. I'm going to send all of our melody and bass to a bus on track 5. And I'm going to take them off of the master channel because track 5 is going to the master channel as well, and that would double it. So now you can see everything is coming through track 5 here. I can bring our whole melody down and up just with this one fader along with the bass. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do what's called side chaining. I have a video on this where I go more in depth on how to side chain, but I'll break it down just quickly here. Basically, I want our kick drum to duck down the melody and the bass. So what I'm going to be doing here, setting the kick drum as that trigger. So all I'm going to do is go to track 5 where I'm going to select our kick, go to track 5 where everything is linked, right click this little arrow on the bottom here and you'll get a pop-up. It'll say side chain to this track. I click that. On track 5 itself, I'm going to put for delimiter. Basically, what this is going to do is when that kick drum comes in, it's going to act as a trigger and say, this kick drum is here, everything else needs to duck down. And then what you want to do is dial down the threshold and bring up the ratio just a little bit. Now you can see every time that kick drum is hitting, it's ducking down, and then you want to change basically your attack is how quickly it's going to act. I keep that as fast as possible when you're side chaining to something like a kick drum. With kick drums or any sort of drum, I'm going to keep the attack fast, so I just keep this as 0 as I can. The release is how quickly that side chain is going to release, you know, how quickly after the kick hits, everything is going to come back up. So the release is how snappy the curve is. That sounds pretty good to me. It's really common in lo-fi and EDM and hip hop. I'm going to send them all to track 22. So there we go. They're all here. I'm going to get this mixed how I like it. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to run all of my drums through a tape machine simulator. So Tape Mellify is awesome. I use this warm fuzz preset. Let me know what other videos you want to see down below. I appreciate all of you. Be sure to follow all my socials. They'll be linked below. Been your boy over and out. I'm back. Peace.